unfortunately, you can't see the colors, which is a shame. But in the PDF that gets sent out later, I'm sure you'll be able to see it. But the idea is that there's blue boxes that are the product management boxes, and those are concentrated in the beginning part of the product development lifecycle. There are green boxes, again, washed out, and those kind of go throughout the process. Those are our engineers. The yellow boxes, thankfully, are showing through. This is where product operations comes and does our best work. So I often joke that the product operations superpower is run state. Most of the product and engineering folks I know are much more interested in launch day, getting something out into the world. They don't really care as much about launch day +1 or +30 or +365, and that's where product operations comes and brings our differentiated skill set. Now, when I compare notes with other product operations leaders, embedding within pods is the most polarizing part of my org design. It's expensive. It's taxing to have people that are embedded in these pods. A lot of people instead have a coaching model where they give advice, but they don't go in as deeply. But I believe it's key to our DevOps mission. Embedding allows us to understand the local context and to tailor our work within the specific constraints of the pod. Amy, in the John Deere presentation, mentioned this earlier. So the other key element of our product operations team is our processes and tools team, the second one on this page. It's led by my colleague Lily, who's in the audience, and their goal is to create standards and processes that increase consistency while minimizing friction. These processes are eclectic, running the gamut from our quarterly road mapping process to incident management. Similar to the process enablement function, the pod enablement function, this team insources processes that are highly manual and streamlines their ongoing operation. In the last year, we've had tech processes very closely work with our tech GRC team, which we call tech governance. And they've developed a knowledge and understanding of our IT general controls. And we were able recently to partner with our senior director of infrastructure and SRE as he simplifies some of Oscar's job monitoring controls for SOX. So David here gave me a great quote. And as he mentions, product operations and the understanding of how all of our tech processes fit together, it was crucial to ensuring that there were no negative consequences to his new job monitoring process. Okay, so let's dive into a couple of specific case studies. Let's start with how our pod enablement team helped pods find their flow by minimizing support requests. As I mentioned earlier, Oscar has gone through many consecutive years of expansion and member growth. Our product and engineering teams have been focused on developing a greater product with minimum viable process. Our internal users would raise a support ticket, and pods would work on them. It was a good thing at first. It allows us to keep our scrappy startup mentality. But as we grew, the support request process became non-viable. Pods didn't have enough bandwidth to intake and triage the requests raised by stakeholders, and some of those requests were critical to our operations. So as our pods were starting to feel the increasing demands of run work, they had trouble keeping up with user needs. This impacted everyone. Product managers were being asked to do triage, engineering had to increase on-call rotations, and everyone felt the growing mental load of a big backlog. It pulled the pod out of the flow of roadmap work. So it sounds familiar, right? I saw flashes of Oscar in the Unicorn Project. Maxine's team achieves flow when they eliminate distractions, reduce work in progress, and create an environment where the team members can immerse themselves in their work. Product operations similarly tackled Oscar's increasing support request queue to help pods focus on their most meaningful work and find their flow. So how did we do it? We started with one domain and then scaled our learnings across the tech organization. So first, I'm going to spotlight our broker experience pod. In the ACA, brokers are a critical part of our member ecosystem and our growth strategy. And over the years, we've developed industry-leading tech for our brokers, but we hadn't prioritized our internal tooling. As we onboarded more and more brokers, we were getting more and more issues flagged to us by our internal broker operations and support teams. So the queue had gotten out of control. We embedded product operations into the domain in February of 2022. They first focused on understanding and triaging the tickets. Once that queue had stabilized, product ops worked down that backlog to get it into a good place before the peak enrollment season of September. During this time, product ops also advocated for roadmap investments to improve self-service tooling, lowering the on-call engineering burden, given all the data that they had from triaging all these tickets. Now, you may be thinking, Claire, did you create a new constraint? A new bottleneck of expertise? Now you have product operations in the mix? Actually, no. About a year ago, we were able to ramp down product operations staffing from a full FTE all the way down to 0 without seeing a dramatic increase in new support requests. The ultimate impact of the product ops work was we were able to decrease engineering and PM staffing by over 30% due to reduced on-call needs. We didn't stop there. Product operations saw the success that we were having in the broker domain, and we decided to tackle the support request queue holistically across all pods. So by taking on this triage process, our goal was to identify trends and address the root cause of issues, managing those backlogs, developing processes to streamline issue management and within pods so that we could then work ourselves out of a job. Our key results, we saw a 30% decrease in tickets open during our peak volume months of December through February. And over a 12-month period, we achieved a 70% reduction in overall support request tickets. So what did this do for the pods? I love this quote from Bill. Sometimes, even if you're not working on a queue, simply knowing that the backlog is there is mentally taxing. I'm proud that our team was able to get this into a good spot so that our product and engineering colleagues could find their flow. So our second case study, let's jump over to the Oscar's road mapping process. When I joined Oscar, I asked to see the roadmap. My jaw dropped when someone sent me the file. It was over 100 lines long, with no ability to roll it up into categories. And this is how you communicate with internal stakeholders? I remember thinking, I guess it did the job, but it was challenging to see how the various components connected to our company priorities. Then I noticed something else. The roadmap didn't include any resourcing required to support the annual insurance enrollment cycle, the most critical activity of our business to enroll new members every year. When I asked why, people looked at me quizzically. It was considered run work, so it wasn't captured on the roadmap. I felt like I was Bill in the Phoenix Project.